Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to have a look at this question. Now, the question is, given that p equals the logarithm of 4 to base a and q equals to the logarithm of 5 to base a, express each of the following in terms of p and q. Now, the first one is the logarithm of 100 to base a. We need to express the logarithm of 100 to base a in terms of p and q. And also, we need to express the logarithm of 0.4 to base a in terms of p and q. Now, let us have a look at the solution. Now, if we begin with a, that is the logarithm of 100 to base a. So, we need to express the logarithm of 100 to base a in terms of p and q. So, what we need to do in a is that we need first to express the logarithm of 100 to base a in terms of the logarithm of either 4 or 5. So that we substitute the logarithm of 4 to base a with p and also the logarithm of 5 to base a with q. Now, the logarithm of 100 to base a can be written as the logarithm of, that is 20 times 5, then we close the bracket to base a. Now, the logarithm of 20 times 5, 20 times 5, remember, is 100. So, I have not changed anything. Now, in that case, it is also the same as the logarithm of, instead of 20, 20 can be written as 4 times 5. Then we also have times 5 there. Then we close the bracket, then to base a. Now, reaching at that point, we have expressed the logarithm of 100 to base a in terms of the logarithm of 4, at least. But we can still proceed. So we can still proceed at this point. Now, if we proceed, then we shall have the logarithm of, that is applying the laws of logarithms. Since this is multiplication, because this is 4 times 5 times 5, it can be the logarithm of 4 to base a. Then, because of multiplication, then we have plus. Then the logarithm of this 5 to base a, then plus the logarithm of 5 to base a. Now, reaching at this point, we have the logarithm of 4 to base a. And we also have the logarithm of 5 to base a. The same applies to this. But the logarithm of 4 to base a is our p. And the logarithm of 5 to base a is our q. And also this one is q. That means we shall have, that is, instead of this, we shall have p. That is p plus q, then plus q. And in this case, we shall have, that is p plus q is 2q. And that is the answer that we obtain because we have expressed, that is the logarithm of 100 to base a in terms of p and q. Now, let us have a look at b. Now, b is the logarithm of 0.4 to base a. So, we need to express this one in terms of p and q. Now, the first thing that we shall do here is we can write 0.4, because this is a decimal, we can write it as a fraction. And therefore, in this case, we shall have the logarithm of, that is 4 over 10, then to base a. Now, if we simplify this, that is 4 over 10. If we simplify 4 over 10, then we shall have the logarithm of 2 over 5, then to base A. That is what we shall have. Because if you simplify by 2, 2 by 2, 5, and therefore this is 2/5. Now, from there, from the laws of logarithms, since this is 2 all over 5, that is 2 divided by 5. From the laws of logarithms, because this one is to base A, that means we can write it as the logarithm of 2 to base A, then minus the logarithm of 5 to base A. Now, reaching at this point, we have not yet arrived to a point whereby we can say we have the logarithm of 4 to base A and the logarithm of 5 to base A. It is only at this point that we have achieved that, because we have to express it in form of the logarithm of 4 to base A and also the logarithm of 5 to base A. This one is achieved. Now, what do we do to this? Now, 2, I can write it this way, that we have the logarithm of 4 raised to a half, then to base A. 4 raised to a half is 2, because 4 raised to a half is a square root of 4, which is just the same as 2. Therefore, I have not changed anything. I want just to ensure that I have either 4 or 5 here. And therefore, if I write this way, I have not changed anything. Then minus the logarithm of 5 to base A. Now, from that point, this one can be a half. That is, from the laws of logarithms, we can remove this power and put it behind the log, that is the logarithm sign. And therefore, this is a half log 4 base A, then minus the logarithm of 5 to base A. Now, I can therefore comfortably substitute this with P, because we have said that this one, we have been given that the logarithm of 4 to base A is P, and also the logarithm of 5 to base A is Q. And therefore, this one will be Q. And therefore, in this case, we shall have a half P minus Q. And that is the answer that we obtain in expressing the logarithm of 0.4 to base A in terms of P and Q.